Hey everyone, this is GosuDad, and welcome back to Season 4 of the Blizzard Online Ladder. This is my final game played in Season 4, Game 26, the last in a series of 8 games played all in one night, and it's about midnight on Monday, December 19th, the last night of Season 4. Here I am playing Protoss in the red. I play random for Season 4, and this was what I drew. My opponent is BoZiffer playing Zerg in the blue. In the 3 o'clock position of Metalopolis, I'm up in the 12 o'clock position, and this is Metalopolis, the map we know and love from back in the beta, removed for Season 3, brought back for Season 4 with some improvements to the map. These entrance ramps now prevent the early pylon wall-off by Protoss players, as well as the remover of the close-by-ground spawn positions. So these two players know exactly where not to look for their opponents on the map. So should be seeing some scouting done by both players. BoZiffer bringing out his Overlord here, checking to see if the opposing player is in the close by air position, and also seeing that I am playing Protoss as well as I was playing random. So Protoss versus Zerg on the map Metalopolis should be a pretty fast game as far as distance to encounter wise. If you'll notice, this close by air positioning is quite close between both bases, so be expecting maybe some quick harassment coming from the Zerg player in the form of Metalopolis, or possibly some drops coming from the Protoss player, but most likely we'll be looking at advances coming down this main highway, this side road that runs by both bases down into each of their natural expansions. BoZiffer going for a natural expansion after spawning pool, which is a fairly defensive measure in case the Protoss puts on any kind of early pressure. BoZiffer wants to be able to make some Zerglings in defense for that, as well as put up some defensive spine crawlers. In the Protoss camp, we've already built a wall, putting down a forge as our second building, with a zealot coming out to be blocking off this nice wall, so we should be able to hold off any kind of Zergling run-bys. And Cybernetics core going down for the Protoss player, but no gas being mined just yet. Chrono boosting out probes and trying to keep up with the Zerg as far as the economy goes. Let's see how he's doing on that front. Zerg already ahead by quite a bit. Checking out the army tab, you can see the worker supply is slightly ahead in the Zerg's favor, and more importantly, BoZiffer has already expanded to his natural expansion, which is to be expected for Zerg players. They always like to be up at least one expansion on their opponents. If their opponents are Protoss or Terran, that is, so that they can make more units, since their units are a little weaker in general on the supply count. So Extractor going down for BoZiffer, so he should be able to either research that speed enhancement, that metabolic boost for his Zerglings, or to be able to build some roaches if they are needed for defense. Both assimilators going down for CuePhoenix. Myself trying to catch up on the gas. As you can see, I have accumulated, I don't know if I can bring this up. Can I bring this up? No. I'm up to almost 400 minerals coming out here, so I can't really do very much with the Cybernetics core without gas. So these assimilators are done. Should be pulling off some probes to those assimilators any time now if I'm on the ball, which apparently I am not. I'm already behind in supply, starting to build some gateways, and killing a scouting Zergling who's seen this front door. So BoZiffer knows that I am walled up, which should be expected against Zerg on a map like this. 2 spine callers coming out from BoZiffer. You can see these little drones coming out there to offer some early defense against this to protect this natural hatchery, and of course some overlords watching some of the overpasses. So one of the and nobody out here at the Zelnaga Tower. Somebody needs to grab that to gain some vision. On my side, I'm starting to pump out a couple of zealots and chrono boosting out that warp gate research, which is oh so crucial, as it appears that I'm going for a 4-gate build. Gateways being almost done, and this Overlord still not being scouted yet. He should be able to sneak in and peek in and see what's going on inside the base when he needs to. Continuing to macro up on BoZiffer's side, he's up to 32 supply. These spine crawlers going to be moving around just a little bit, trying to defend both the natural and the main through this common entrance point, which is not a bad idea. And we can see him also upgrading to the lair, so should be expecting to see some Metalopolis coming out from the Zerg player, which is a very crucial part to the typical Zerg strategy, or one of the Zerg weaknesses, is that when this Protoss death ball of unit starts moving out, the Zerg needs to be able to somehow convince the Protoss player that they don't need to attack just right now. They need to go back to their base and defend against some kind of harassment, which is often done with Mutalis, which should be an excellent strategy for BoZiffer, as he is up on by 1 expansion, building a macro hatchery, so he'll be able to build lots of units all at once, which will allow him to be able to react very quickly to any kind of strategy coming from the Protoss player. Now bringing in that Overlord to see what is going on in the Protoss base, seeing a couple of Harvesters on the Assimilator, and it looks like some kind of chrono boost going on, and it's chrono boosting likely gateways coming from this. That's a gateway indeed, and hopefully he'll be able to see that the Cybernetics core is down, and then maybe even be able to see that Warp Gate has been researched and these gateways are just opening, so be able to see that, and that there are some Stalkers on the way. So a quick reaction to that should be making some more units. Looks like we've got a Roach Warren on the way down at the natural expansion. So if BoZiffer is able to hold off this early aggression, he will be ahead in the macro game. You can see he's already mining gas down here at the natural expansion. Checking out the income tab, you can see he's already ahead up on minerals as he was before, but now significantly ahead on gas. And so that's going to give him an extreme advantage in the macro game. And he's got a nice little Zergling out here to make sure to see when that Protoss Death Ball moves out, and a probe moving out from CuePhoenix. His army preparing to move out. Just a handful of Stalkers and Zealots and a Sentry. Looks like he was a little behind on his production. And you can see the remaining gates opening up. That's 4 gates right now. A defensive photon cannon going down, and a 5th gate going up. 5 gates is a little aggressive for 4 gate. The maximum amount of minerals and gas that you can harvest on a maximized mineral and gas line is about 700 and 250 or so, which is just enough to support 4 gates pumping out 4 Stalkers at a time. So we'll see if that 5th gate does CuePhoenix any good. I suppose if he starts warping in Zealots, he can get out a 5th Zealot if necessary. But I really think he's going to be limited in his economy as far as how much he'll be able to replenish this group. Now this is a pretty strong group. Got a couple of Zealots, and 1 Sentry should be putting down a Guardian Shield. I'm not going to expect a lot of force field play from the Protoss player myself. I'm in basically lower Silver League playing against upper Bronze League players. BoZiffer is in Bronze League at the top of this league. Of course, with the Season 4 lockdown, that means that nobody's advancing, so BoZiffer is quite possibly really should be in Silver League at this point, but we'll see what happens. A couple of Sentries in the back, which really should wait for their energy to increase, but a whole bunch of Zerglings and Roaches and Spine Crawlers ready to go on the defense. This is probably not going to go in the Protoss' favor. Those Zealots trying to cut things down, but so much damage being focused upon them, they quickly get whittled away, which leaves the Stalkers, which are pretty good against Roaches if they're able to micro away and take advantage of their speed and range advantage, but since they're not doing that and they're just duking it out 1-for-1 against these Roaches, I think they're going to be able to survive. Maybe bringing up the hit point tab and see how close these Roaches are. Yeah, so they should be able to survive, and some reinforcements coming in from the 4 gate. That's the advantage of the 4 gate. But with these Spine Crawlers out, and we can see in the production tab 7 Mutalisks on the way and more Roaches on the way, and these Zerglings actually are doing quite a bit of damage against these Stalkers, which are not as good at attacking units, defending from units that attack very quickly. Stalkers have a fairly low rate of fire, although they do a significant amount of damage to armored units. They have a slow rate of fire, and so these Zerglings can really do a number on them, and there's just not enough Zealots to hold that off. So at this point, I think BoZiffer is significantly ahead. If you check out the supply tab, on the army supply tab even, he's ahead on army and significantly ahead on workers, and you can tell from the oh, where'd they go? Here come in the Mutalisks to pull some harassment in. Now these Mutalisks at this point are not trying to kite the Protoss player back to the base at all. Instead, they're just trying to clean up this mineral line and prevent any more units from being built at that proxy pylon. So killing off the mineral line, or at least getting the mineral line to move back to these defensive photon cannons, these Mutalisks have done actually a tremendous amount of damage and are basically forcing the Protoss player to make a decision about whether he's going to pull back and try to kill off those Mutalisks, or just going for some massive attack at the front door with clearly not enough units. These Spine Crawlers by themselves could probably hold off this attack, but adding in a couple of Zerglings and Roaches just going to do a tremendous amount of damage. And GG from myself, losing that last game of the season, last game of the evening. But a very good game for BoZiffer, demonstrating how expanding, and as long as you can hold off on that very first attack on those first couple of waves, two bases for the Zerg puts them significantly ahead of their opponent, and of course an excellent demonstration of the power of the Mutalis. They move very quickly, can do a lot of damage, tremendous amount of damage. They do basically kind of an area of effect damage with their what are these things called? Glaive worms that go off and attack multiple units at once. But most importantly, they're very fast and can be used to harass the mineral line constantly, unless the player has put down some defensive units or some defensive structures like photon cannons to try to protect their mineral line. But of course, that's just economic damage. That's more resources spent in the defense of your base instead of in the offense. And as we saw in this game, even with the proxy pylon and bringing in the 4-gate, if you don't have enough money to support to invest into your army at the front line, you're not going to make much of a difference as far as putting pressure on at this point. So there you go, end of Season 4, and good game for BoZiffer, and we'll see you guys next time.